please, a warm welcome to Jacob Risgaard.
Thank you. I think it was 4 years ago since you invited me last time.
Yes.
Thank you so much for seeing me here. It's to be honest, I feel a little bit small now, going to speak before Mark from Netflix. You know, so no matter what I say now, in 50 minutes from now, a guy will come in and can do it 1,000 times much more aggressive than I can. But sometimes it might be willing to learn something from a smaller one instead of the largest ones. The short story from Coolshop to the guys who wasn't here 4 years ago is that Coolshop started up in 2000 and in 1991, 1996 I started up. But this is a picture from 2010, and the reason I bring this is from the Danish Stock Exchange. The building is 400 years old, and in 2010 they took the 400 stores that did it best online and had a competition for them. We thought we didn't stand a chance because these guys had 100 years to prepare themselves for this. We were in the final with Tivoli, that's a 110-year-old company, Star Tours and things like that. But it was a great night for us. We won everything. And this picture is really funny because you see the girl, the little drunk one, she was the one who started the Danish Dankort. The Danish stores knows this one. And right now she's running a case against the Dankort for charging too much online. A funny picture, but we won everything that evening, including the main award. So how is that possible? I was at school with a guy called Michael, and Michael, I didn't like that guy really much, and Michael got a 9, that's a A in math, and I only got a C, 7. And the thing was that I didn't want Michael to know that he was better than me in math, so I lied to him and everyone in the class saying that I got an A+. And I had to lie to everybody, or else Michael would know that I was lying. So what happened was that 6 months after, when the grades came in, I could see that it was only a C, and I picked up the phone and was ready to call the school and say there's a mistake here, until I noticed, oh yeah, it was because I lied. I lied so much it became true. Have you tried that? It works with everything, not sexual disease. I tried that, but it works with almost everything. And that's a brilliant thing. So if you continue to say something, it becomes true. So at Coolshop, we never invented anything that doesn't exist already. We just put a word in front of it. We say that we can do everything wilder, we say in Denmark. And the good thing is that we can put that in front of things and say we can't be cheapest or largest or fastest, but we can do it more wild. We want it more. And we yell that every time we take a decision, and right now we believe it because we are saying it so much. And I want to show you what happens when you yell that to every decision you make. So when I count down for 3, I want you to all yell all you can wild with me. Okay? I'll do it as many times as it takes to get everyone to do it, so you might as well do it first time, okay? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, wild! That's great, man. Normally it takes 3, 4 tries to get this working, but imagine what happened in your body now. Your body thinks that there's a saber tiger after me, or something like that, because your body reacts to you going crazy suddenly. But if you continue to yell this, what the mantra could be your company, you would believe it at the end. 1996, I was looking like this. This is actually a year before Netflix got started from Mark, but what we saw is that DVDs was brand new, and as you can probably imagine on the picture, I didn't have a lot of girls in my bedroom, so my bedroom was looking like this. It was DVDs from the US coming into to Denmark, and we could get the DVDs at the same time it was running in the cinema. I saw in the US they started to rent them out online also. Some young guys, one of them was Mark coming after. And this was a fairly good online business. But what happened was that after 4 years we went into 2000 and probably one of you guys were in the IT business in the 2000s. You know that this is not the first financial crisis we had, the one we are in now. In 2000, everything exploded, and this is the picture from a Wednesday in November, and this is the day after. I have the same shirt on. 2 days in a row. Okay, but this is true. This is Wednesday and Thursday. Overnight, the bank closed everything. They didn't want to invest in e-commerce stores anymore. And the whole idea was that everything at that point was running on, if you had a .com domain, you were a millionaire. As you see today, not many online stores makes a lot of money. They turn over a lot and they get a lot of money thrown in from investors, but it's 1 out of 100 maybe that makes money. Ernst & Young made a big test in Europe. The average earnings from an e-commerce store in Northern Europe is -4%. -4% is what we make on the money. So it's really good to be a customer online because everything we earn we give back. So after trying to figure out what we could make money on then was to try and build business on top of it. And also try not to compete with all the companies that had so much money coming in from investors, where the only thing was to buy market share. We wanted to have organic growth. We never get any outside money into Coolshop. So what we did was we found out that in Norway, if we wanted to, kind of use the Amazon example where we place ourselves in strategic tax areas, we found out that even if you're placed in Denmark, in Norway, when you buy movies and books and everything, cultural products, you don't have to pay any tax on it. And we agreed that a movie was a product of culture, and porn is also a movie. And in Norway, it's illegal to buy porn. So we could actually sell an illegal product in porn, like a porn movie, to Norwegian people with no tax, because the government would pay that in Norway. And that was a good business. We actually went on the stock exchange in Norway on the OTC list up there with a product that's not legal to sell. And this is Øyvind, our chairman. He doesn't know he's in the introduction. But what happened at that time was, this is from a chairman's meeting. In Norway, there wasn't any tax on when you swap stocks with others. So every weekend I have a new owner group, because they were sitting in a weekend getting some drinks and swapping the ownership in the companies they owned. It wasn't kind of my dream to have a new owner group every weekend, and I found out also I'm not a brilliant leader. This is number 13 from the local hockey team, and we found out that just because you're good at hockey, you might not be good at logistics. Who should think that? And the thing was that first time Anders here, he went on holiday. We couldn't find any of the movies, and that was because Anders had sorted the movies after how big the breast was on the girls on the cover. And I found out it's not the way to do it, apparently. But and also, this is a true story. We got a phone call on customer service, and you could hear a woman with crying children in the back saying, I think I got the wrong Snow White and the 7 small dwarfs. And so we're not good at logistics, and that's the thing, is that we call ourselves e-commerce stores, but in theory we are logistics companies. Same time, Mark and Mike started up in the garage with the mom and dad, and we said to ourselves, there's nothing in the world that can be sold better online than it can in a physical store. And with that, we set out to see that all stores especially in Denmark, all big chains, they compete in selling cheap shit as cheap as possible. So we wanted to take the best things and sell them as cheap as possible. We were some of the first ones in Scandinavia to introduce in the video, and we took the big VHS camera we could find that time, and started out to make video to our website. To kind of that point, people should be sure that we were not afraid to show our faces on our website. Here I'm interviewing, this is the first interview we made with the guy who made World of Warcraft. And we said that we would never go out again to fairs. We wanted to make our fair material onto a little TV station. And still today you can find some of the videos on YouTube where I press record and run behind the table and present the products that we have on stock. And we saw suddenly that we actually had more viewers on some of these shows than some of the TV shows had, with 14, 15 employees at that show. And how was that possible? We said also we wanted to keep it simple. Everything today is so not simple. Every product we see that has a huge potential, like Apple and things, is people and companies who take a product that is relevantly complicated and make it simple. So we say that when we start a company, and I'm not by far, you heard I was not good at math, but to give me a long contract, it takes my soul out. So what we say that we want everybody to respect that things should be done as simple as possible. We have a 5-line rule in a company. No email must be over 5 lines. And when a company say we can't make a contract in 1 page, or we can't write that email in 5 lines, you can always use this example. That one of the biggest writers, Ernest Hemingway, maybe you know this example, he was known for his huge romance, like 800 pages of stories. And his friends was teaching him about this, saying, well, you know, you always write so long stories. You can never write a story under 10,000 words. And he said, I think I can write one with over 10 words, under 10 words. And they made a bet, and many people actually think this is the best story he ever made. This one. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. People who have children actually get like, you know, almost starting to cry when you see this. I actually seen people in my speeches go, you know, just falling a tear because this story is so intense, but it's in 6 words. If he had 800 pages to write this sentence, he would still not be able to hit the hammer on the nail as he does here. So the whole story is that if he can write, if Hemingway can make a story under 800 pages into 6 words, you can get short, precise content also on your website. Amazon, our biggest competitor, all of us biggest competitor. When you search for a simple product like an HDMI cable, and with an HDMI cable, there's no quality difference because it's digital. Either it works or it doesn't. So when you go to Amazon, this is an old picture, but I think today it's twice as much. But this one was 113,000 different HDMI cables. I know that Amazon's idea is to be the everything store. But for me, they have too much of everything if you have 113,000 of the same product. Imagine if you tell your grandmother, congratulations with your new TV. You can go on Amazon to find a cable to your DVD player, and she finds 130,000 results. She would die. So what we did was we always take the iPad version. If they are Windows, we want to be the iPad version. We have the free products that you need. The idea behind this is that the bigger your competitors are, the more of a edge you also can have on them, because they are running at one direction and you can always attack them in the other one. Also, it should be easy for us because Amazon, I think it takes like 500 clicks to contact customer service. It should be easy if you're a Scandinavian store to get in contact to customer service. Even more, it's important that people can see your customer service. How many pages do you know where you just see a model picture with a model with a headset on, and you know this is not even person from customer service? If they can't put their own faces on, how would you ever trust them to fulfill the guarantee when you need it? The way we built up our marketing was to say that we can never compete with Zalando's budget or Amazon's budget in marketing because they have billions to spend before making money. So what we did was we say that we try, and in Denmark we always, the Norwegians said about Danish people that we were like the Jews of Scandinavia. And I thought, no, but we never got gassed. But it wasn't that idea. It was that we don't see anyone as a competition. We always see a possibility to make business together. So when the World of Warcraft game for that guy before came out, everybody wanted that game precisely at midnight. And we couldn't get the post to deliver 100,000 games at midnight. So we called McDonald's and said, how busy are you on a first day at midnight? Not that busy, they said. And we said, okay, if we can get 50,000 people to go pick up the game, and you can sell them a menu so they can eat while they install the game. And they said, hey, brilliant idea. And suddenly we had access to the most expensive square meters in the country, instead of the stores where people were sleeping outside to get the store to open at midnight. They didn't even have the lights turned on in the stores for the most loyal customers. We go around and see every time there's a new car game coming out, we just put a car in the airport. They have a lot of people coming through, and they wanted something extra fun for the customers, for the visitors in the airport to look at. But when we found out we had something was on the PR. The PR is where you get the press to do something and they don't want money for it, and that's not too normal. But a short story here is that we had a lot of burglaries around 5 years ago, and we got so annoyed about these burglaries that we had a lot of cameras. So at the end we had a high definition, multiple angle camera footage of a young guy taking his mother's socks over his head and taking iron into the door and breaking up the door. And there was a large sign on the door that says video camera on it. And we put that video footage on our website and say, if you know this guy, call the police, he have our products. And the funny thing was that after 2 days, the door got kicked in. I was sitting in a meeting, and 2 police officers came in and put me in handcuffs and said that I could sentence 3 months in jail because the burglar did not accept him going online. And I said, great, you caught him. And he said, no, not yet. But this is the Scandinavian law. You cannot put people online if they don't want to, even if they're breaking into your house. This story went to CNN, it went to all the news stations. I was sitting live on CNN from the Danish TV2 station, and the CNN journalist asked me, is it true that you can't film a guy with a Canon video camera in Denmark when you could shoot them with a Smith & Wesson in the US? I said, that's true. But where we found out that we had something here was that nobody outside our target group, there was younger teenagers at that point, knew who we were. But this was a TV station for plus 65-year-olds. And they have mentioned our case so many times that at the end they even wrote Coolshop frifundet. That means that we are credited because we didn't get a case out of this. But they mention our name so many times that they even write our name in the headline to an audience that didn't know us 2 weeks before. So we found, wow, there's something here. And then I looked back to my youth and saw with this water, everybody knows there's no virgin sitting behind a waterfall like this with 250 million bottles every week from Evian to fill up the water. But every time, even if your logic says that this water is not better than this one, you would always take the branded water. Because they mention it so many times that it's kind of in your brains hard-coded that this is better, even if you know it's not. So we will never say no to go out and tell our stories. I have between 80 and 100 speeches like this every year, because if someone wants to listen to your brand story for 40 minutes, you should never say no. Maybe most of you afterwards say, Jesus Christ, what an idiot. But all of you would know who Coolshop is, at least. So we get now invited. We wanted to kind of be always accessible for the journalist. I'll never have a no to a journalist. When they call me sometimes, most of the times I don't even know what they're talking about. Last week they called me, what do you think about the new rules with the parcels from Germany to Denmark? And I need to go to the toilet. I have a really bad stomach. And then I was really Googling it. And then I called him back 5 minutes later and give him my opinion. Because journalists today have to write 30 stories every day, and if they call you just 3 times and you don't have a reply to them, you get out of the list, because they only need people on the phone list that they can rely on having a statement for them. And what you get out of this is a lot. What you can say is that, how many people would go into a bed with a 20-year-old blonde? Okay, a lot of people would do that. But the thing here is that we put the person behind it, behind everything we do. This is a commercial we made for Experience that we made, and also TV shows. Look at that idiot sitting in his spa outside with his glass of champagne in the morning. I would never ever do that. Or maybe not every day, but the thing is that on TV it works. It works that you are a really black and white character. So you need to invent a character, and right now 3 TV stations in Denmark invites me every week for free to go out and tell about new products on Coolshop. Could you imagine IKEA's product team for free go in and tell about new IKEA products without paying for it? The funny thing is that we can get access because we do it with a smile and maybe some humor. This is, I know what you're thinking, but this is electronic toothbrush and anti-stress mushroom. You can stand like this. And I just thought I wanted to be funny because the host was a lesbian. She wanted to look out what a penis would look like. I didn't know it was 9th grade that was being showed around in the back, and they were crying and and what happens was that suddenly you became a character on TV. This is Danish TV. There's no commercial on that TV, but there is, because every time, now it's 50 or 60 times they've used my character as a person that they want to make fun of. And that's brilliant, because every time the Coolshop name is mentioned. So TV3 called me at some point and said, do you want to appear on a TV show about buying expensive houses? And I said, okay, we can do that if you can write our brand name, the Coolshop brand name, behind my name 600 times in all it was 2 seasons, in all the shows, and you would afterwards in the reruns. And they accepted to do that. And what I didn't know was how much impact it would have. Here is Google Analytics numbers from 4 o'clock, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and this is where all marketing just runs as normal on Google, radio, Facebook, and so on. But as soon as we went to TV that night, at just a normal TV show, 310,000 people went into the website in Denmark alone to see who the hell is that guy? How did he make that money? So it works. You can never ever get better marketing than PR. The next thing for us is be cool, obviously because we are called Coolshop. And what we mean about being cool is to, most important for this talk today, is to have charity and empowering others. Because it actually works to be more than just your company. What we did was always try and get all famous people in the Nordics, almost all of them. But 99% of them, like e-commerce stores, don't make any money. They have enough, but they don't make real money. So if you call them and say, hey, famous guy, do you want some free products from my store? And what you can do is just put on Instagram or Facebook that you buy from me. They would almost always say yes. So every time someone wins X Factor or whatever they are on, we just call them and say, do you want a VIP membership to Coolshop? And you can just expose that you're using us. They would say yes. So today we make concepts with these people to kind of show that we are more than just one and zeros. We're not just digital, we are also much more than that. We want to show people that we exist in real life. We also try to take credit on the word cool, because we saw that when NASA was landing on Mars, you know, when these 2 rovers were coming up 3 years ago, I saw I don't know if it's true, but I saw a branding chart saying that the rise of Mars bars was rising to 8, 9 times what they normally sell of these the candy bars, because people suddenly hear the word Mars all the time, so they got hungry. That's brilliant. So imagine that every time people name the word, hey, cool, they will think, Coolshop, I need to buy something. So what we do is that we try and use that word in everything we can. So every time we find a cool person, we'll go out and try and own that story, like piggyback on the story. This young girl is funny. She found 14,000 kroner in cash on the local gas station. It was an old 93-year-old man who dropped them before he was going down and pay his bills for December. She handed over the money, and what happens was everybody in the school she was a teenager, said, oh, you are so stupid. Why did you hand over the money? He's dying anyway, and things like that. And she was afraid even to go to school. So we called our suppliers and said, should we give her for like 28,000 in products just to show she is cool? And suddenly it went viral, that story. Also, the one in the back was, we had a lot of fraud. You know, you always have that, all of you. So we put in a small GPS tracker on a guy we knew was a fraudster, and we called the TV station TV2 and said, do we want to film while we catch this guy? And they said, yeah, great. And obviously that's something that also went really viral. There's a story in everything. I was talking to a sex toy store. What they did was just send a story to the local newspaper and say, hey, did you know that in Copenhagen is the town in Denmark they buy most sex toys? Boom, all newspapers. They are so horny in Copenhagen and things like that. You know, there's a story in everything in your store. So what we found out is also with the charity, obviously there's a lot of win-win on it, because the people who needs the money, we do a lot for children with cancer, but there's a lot of good causes out there that the press also love companies with responsibility more than just to make money. So when the Danish tabloids call me and say, do you want to appear in a competition to see who can collect most money in 8 weeks where we follow it, you never say no, because you get the exposure and the children with cancer get the money. That's really a win-win in my book. So we get a lot of exposure from that, but lastly, you have to live it. This is pictures from how Coolshop looks today, because we don't sell anything that you need to survive. Everything we sell on Coolshop is things that make your life more comfortable or funnier, but it's nothing that is really... this is when we talk about pay. This is Dennis in the red. He's not working there anymore because it's me in the blue. And what we did a couple of months ago was that we said to all our employees, we're going to build a fitness center, and we built it. And when it was finished after the summer, we said to them, you need to train 1.5 hours every week, and you have to do it. We put up a finger scanner, and the press loved that. They are forcing people to go to the gym. The thing is that we pay for it. We pay the 1.5 hour where they train, and the whole PR we got out of forcing our employees to train was worth much more than what it cost to set up the fitness center. Because all newspapers took that story. Our employees get fit and we get good exposure. What's not to like? So this is Coolshop today. And what we do is to kind of always get our employees to think out of the box. Is that we agreed before that if you mention something many times, it becomes true. And that's because the brain is just a muscle. And when you get to my age, when you sit like this for just 2 minutes and you stand up again, you just need to stretch out. And that's the same with your brain, that if you do the same all the time, it gets stuck in that. So when we say to Martin in customer service, where his brain goes like this, because he's just answering his live chat, you say to him, Martin, we need an F-16 fighter plane to go under some parcels that you should make a bridge out so 6,000 people can walk over them in an event we are making 3 weeks from now. His brain goes suddenly. And weeks after that, he has so many good ideas because you forced his head out of this normal routine he's sitting in. From the day we got the idea to the first cool car race at the airport until there was 6,500 people there, it took 3 weeks. In comparison, when the Air Force makes the air show, it takes 7 years for them to prepare for that. So that's the difference between the private sector and... okay, so when we make this cool car race, this is Tanya from customer service. Everybody else from the company. Tanya is a good example, never to hire anyone when you're drunk. Obviously, what we do is go out, and when you get big enough, and you all tried that, when you go to a certain size and you find out that your employees, don't burn as much for it as you do. I come tonight maybe to the company at 10 o'clock, and I can see it's not all cars there. I sometimes think, what could they possibly be doing that's more fun than work? And some of them have something called a life. But when I want everybody to feel the same way about the company as I do, we show them that we are more than just making money to the boss. These pictures are only used in our speeches, but it's what we do. I use 30% of my time on charity because it's good business to help others. These children, the brilliant thing about cancer with children is that in just 10 years we turned everything around. And 10 years ago it was 8 out of 10 children with cancer who died. Now it's 8 out of 10 who survives. Everybody loves to play the winning team. So it's a brilliant place to go in and fight. And when the zoo came to us and said, do you know, Jacob, that there's only 12 months left of the wild elephants if they continue to hunt like that. It's the Asian people, they go in their yachts, and then they are outside African's coast, they fly in a helicopter, and then they go out and shoot the elephant and drag it out. And they say, if you don't believe me, you can come down and shoot some Asians. And I play a lot of Call of Duty, but I didn't do that. But we found out that we could raise money by the customers' help also. But What we did to make the money that I talked about, because e-commerce stores alone is a difficult place to, really make money unless you sell your company to someone who strategically needs your audience. But what we did was to try and make our own products. We make our own from data from our website. We saw that there was a lot of interest in cards you can switch when you're interested in football. So we made the soccer stars. 150 million of these small figurines are sold now. We try to go out and deal with all the local major clubs, and just a feeling when you've always been online to see that your figures, you have pictures coming home from all over the world, is something special for me. We made our own computer game, and this game is the third lowest rated game in the history of computer games. Isn't that crazy? If you go to Metacritic to the last page, you'll see it's first. You couldn't even make a game that bad if you wanted to, but we try again. So next year, Terminator is coming out. And we actually talked to Schwarzenegger, and he didn't want to appear in the game. But we believe that we have something here. We never quit. We do it wilder. We made our own parcel service. We made a premium membership club. You should really do that to your most loyal customers. Made them pay a monthly subscription like Amazon Prime, and to your most loyal customers, make them give them super discounts, or maybe even buy anything at your own cost price. The marketplace we launched a couple of months ago. If you have any products you want to sell via us, you can do it on our site, but we also sell on CDON and Amazon. We don't see anyone as a competition, because I don't know if it's just us, but I don't see that the more we can go online to buy, we can make business for ourselves together. I think we have 5-6% of the whole offline sales today, including all products that you eat. So why not help each other to get more people online? We have a academy for a lot of students, because we don't have free or almost free workers in Denmark. We have a high tax rate, so we need to have people working in projects. It's American to get people in and work a couple of months for you to show that what they can do, or maybe even more. We have people up to 6 months without pay, and then we keep the best ones. It's very American. We found out that retro products like this troll was really hot, so we bought the right to that one, started a company, and today, as you saw, that the Trolls movie, because DreamWorks bought the rights to make a movie over these trolls. We have the rights to make all of the grown-up designer versions of this one. We sold over 100,000 of these small figurines now. We have our own freight company called Cool Runner. We introduced this idea to all the biggest e-commerce stores we could find in Denmark and Sweden, and then we say, why don't we pull all our parcels together and go out and make a deal together? So instead of dealing with 1 million parcels, we would deal 15 million parcels. And we got really good prices, and we took those prices and offered them to normal people who want to send parcels back and forth to their friends. But the good thing was that we got even more parcels that we could go out and deal with. I would say within this year, before 2017, we should be the largest distributor of C2C parcels in Denmark. And it took us 11 months. The whole parcel idea was also to show that we don't see anyone as a competition. Everybody is welcome in our parcel service. We play with totally open card, but what we do is we help each other be better. As soon as Amazon comes for real in the local area up here, we need to stand together. The thing was with this story, with the freight company, back to the PR, was that it was the most read story in the Danish business press last year. This was the same year as Lego went out with the best result in the history of Lego. The CEO of Lego was dancing and singing on stage, but we still got the most read story, because everybody loves the small one against the big one. And this story was obviously about PostNord competition, and they hate us. And we can see that because they throw out our letters. It feels like that. We started up in Norway, and we have a clothing store. We're not really good at this, but everything we do is try to not compete with the area where you can never win. You can never win the battle on Google. You can get some sales from AdWords, but there's always be one with bigger pockets than you. So be creative. Like when we started, be creative. When we started the fashion store, we went out and said, okay, there's only one reason a guy would pay 1,500 for a pair pants is to get a blowjob. There's no other way when he goes out. So why didn't we just build on that? So we made a party concept called Chicks Dig It and only invite the hottest girls to these parties. And today there's around 16,000 teenagers on that list waiting to get on the party list with the pop-up parties called Chicks Dig It. And it's brilliant commercial because we can never compete with Zalando on their turf. We make robots to make it easier to pick and pack the products that are the same size. We have a parcel center for the competitors we have where we pack for them and we ship for them. And it's brilliant because they can use our system and local presence, and we can ensure them that nobody can do it better or cheaper than us. And then we started. We should end up where we started. You remember the small little studio we had? We said we're going to do that wilder also. So today we travel around the world with different hosts to make stories around gadgets and TV. We make production for the Danish TV stations like this one. And it's brilliant that you have your own gaming review program on TV when you make the worst games in history, that you own the people who are rating them. And then there is the whole car thing you mentioned in the beginning. It's always the thing with money and the pursuit of them is that it should only be used for freedom. So when I say that there's not a lot of money to be made on e-commerce stores, you all know it's true, but what we should do with the money we get is to kind of reinvest them all the time. We found our golden egg when we started a business-to-business model where we sold our products to all our competitors also. All the stores in Denmark, they buy products from us. We can buy more products. The customers can get it cheaper. We can make more. Always try and put extra value into your chain and around your company. So with the cars that we're interested in, we make like a mini gumball race. We collect money to children with cancer. And what I always say is that the children in cancer is the perfect opportunity to every day wake up and be really happy at what you do, even if it's a day again where you don't make much money on it, or you just want to do something wilder. This is Roberto. He's 7 years old. He put a hand on his car last year. We drove with him on a Sunday, and on Wednesday he was not here anymore. So he's my reminder to go out now and be wilder. Thank you.
Couple of questions from the panel.
The timing was good.
That was great.
Yeah, I mean, great story, Jacob. But you're wild, and your company is wild. So, if you're in a company, okay, let me rephrase. If you want to give a tip to somebody that can't be that wild as you are, or Coolshop is, a little bit more on the safe side, what kind of tip can you give to the audience here who is sitting in companies who perhaps can't do all the crazy things, but still there's some good findings in what you're doing?
But it's actually a brilliant question, but the whole reason we use the word wild is that this is something everyone can do. If you say that we need to be the biggest or the fastest or the best, there will always be someone that can come in with more money or have a better start than you. But everybody can go out and just do it wild. And I would say that Steve Jobs have a point when he says that every year you need to risk it all. It's the only way that you know that you're alive. The best thing, if you are afraid to be wild, I started up when I was living in a foster home when I was a child. And I found that every time I have 100 kroner, I would take one kroner, and I would go out and give it to the homeless man, as an example, that was sitting outside the store. This is what it happens was that in my body suddenly it feels like I have more than I need, because I could still get the sodas or beers or whatever I wanted, but it's a way to tell your brain that you have more than you need. And as long as we don't lose money or we wake up and do something funny every day, there's no reason not to be wild every day.
Great presentation. not a wild question at all, but you've talked a lot about getting free press and getting celebrities to promote you for free. Essentially, you get a lot of free exposure. Most people here will probably use sort of paid channels to get attention. So I imagine you have to spend some money, pay for some marketing. Where do you spend that money?
Yeah, obviously, we used Google like everyone else, and Facebook. We never really cracked that one. We can never get a good ROI. But we're also in low margin business with electronic products and things like that. So what we did was we used the term price guarantee and free freight in order to keep it simple. So that gives us a really high conversion rate because people trust that the price you see is fair and there's no extra added cost. That gives us a high conversion rate. So we actually introduced in Scandinavia in I think it was 2001 the first affiliate marketing idea, where when everyone these salespeople call you and say we can sell a lot of your products in our catalog, you would say that's okay if we can make a split deal. You can do it with TV today. You can say to a TV station, I'll run TV ads with you if we just see what we sold last year and we share in the middle what we add extra with your TV commercial this year. So we just need every money we spend, we just need to be sure that everyone has their hand on the plate. That's the problem with Facebook. They don't have that. Yeah.
Jakob, it's a pleasure every time.
Oh, you too.
Thank you
Sweet
so
Sarah.
much. A
Thank
big
you.
hand for Jakob.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.